Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very informative video. I had released a video on Gift Nifty almost a month or two ago, followed by which I did a separate reel on the entire Gift City because I got an opportunity to visit there. I visited the IFSCA office as well. It was such an informative tour for me of the entire Gift City, and then I got so many comments on that reel that, ma'am, can you just help us understand that if we were to invest via Gift City, in short, if we were to reach Wall Street via Gift City or Wall Street via Gandhinagar, in that case, how can that be done? So I thought I should do a separate video for how to invest in US stocks via the Gift City route. So this is going to be a really interesting video. So keep on watching the video till the end. Now, as a resident Indian, you have multiple ways through which you can invest in US stocks, something like, as an example, right? Let's say Apple or Tesla or whatever, right? Now, every method will have its own advantages, disadvantages. So, let's primarily talk about three major routes through which you can invest in US stocks. The first one will be a gift city route where you open an account with a gap licensed broker. Now, you might be like, what is this gap? Gap full form is basically a global access provider. I think the name itself is very self-explanatory. It's a broker basically who is going to help you with global access. It's going to provide you global access. Okay. Now, what could be an example of this? IND money. Okay. So let's again revise. The first route through which you can invest in US stocks could be the Gift City route through a gap licensed broker. And we'll talk about this gap licensed broker in way more detail in the coming section. Second could be directly approaching a US broker and opening an account directly with them. And third could be, okay, I don't want to invest in US stocks directly, but I want to invest in them indirectly, and that can be done via an Indian mutual fund route. Basically, I invest in mutual fund, in an Indian mutual fund, and they invest this money in turn in US stocks. Okay, so that is how I can get exposure to US stocks in multiple ways. Now, let's understand where will be the compliance comparatively easy. If I talk about the first one, the compliance is going to be comparatively easy. If I'm talking about a second case, it's going to be a comparatively harder compliance, and for Indian mutual fund case, it's going to be pretty easy, right? Very easy. If I'm talking about which platform will be used, the Gift City route, the platform will be Indian. As I gave you the example, IND money, the platform is Indian, right? If I'm talking about the US broker, platform will be American platform. And if I'm talking again about Indian mutual funds, platform will be Indian. Now let's also understand about FX costs. Why will these FX costs come into play? Because whenever you are investing in US stocks, of course the investing will be done in dollars. So there are going to be some foreign exchange costs. If I'm talking about the first scenario of investing through a gap licensed broker, then costs will be comparatively lower. In the second case, directly investing via US broker, costs will be comparatively higher. And if I'm talking about an Indian mutual fund, then there are going to be no costs involved. Okay, but what about the taxes? If I'm talking about the first case, Gift City route, or the US broker route, in both cases, whatever capital gains you're going to have while you buy or sell stocks, those will be taxed as per the Indian laws and US laws as well. Basically, in US, there could be a withholding tax which could come into picture, but don't worry, because India and US have a DTAA or a double taxation avoidance agreement, you won't have to worry much. Okay, but if I'm talking about Indian mutual funds, here the taxation will happen only in India. Okay, what about the product access? And if I'm talking about product access, in the first two cases, it's going to be high. You will get an opportunity to invest in a lot of US stocks or ETFs which are listed in the US exchange as well. But if I'm talking about Indian mutual funds, of course, the product access is going to be extremely lower. Why? I can't choose which US stock I want to invest in. The fund manager is going to decide which US stocks he or she wants in the mutual fund portfolio, right? So access is going to be lower. Now, which could be ideal for which category? So, if I'm talking about Gift City route, the gap license broker, this will be ideal for most retail individual investors. If I'm talking about directly opening an account with a US broker, this will be mainly good for advanced level of investors. And if I'm talking about Indian mutual funds route, this could be good for beginner level. Okay, so now that you have understood about the basic difference of investing via these three routes, I'm sure you have still many questions in your mind. I can read your mind. We'll talk about few important questions in the immediate next sections of the video. Now let's try and get answers to some questions that can pop up in every investor's mind. Okay, first things first, who is a gap licensed broker? Like I told you, what is the full form of gap? Global access provider. Okay, the name itself suggests, as I told you, it's going to be a broker dealer who is going to help you to get a global access, right? Question is, okay, agreed, he's going to be, I mean, the entity is going to be a broker, agreed. But will that broker be regulated? So, if I were to give you a parallel example, if I, as an investor, am investing in Indian stocks normally through some broker, will those brokers be regulated? Of course, yes, the brokers are regulated, the exchanges are regulated. By whom? By SEBI. But if I'm investing through the gift city route, is there a separate regulator? And answer is obviously yes. The regulator is IFSCA. Correct. So if I'm talking about a global access provider, basically that provider is no one but a broker dealer who is regulated by IFSCA. Is that going to give me an additional peace of mind? Yes. Now let's take an example. If I were to invest via IND money, okay, who is IND money? IND money is nothing but a global access provider, and that is going to help you to get access to 9,000 plus US stocks and also ETFs which are listed in USA. So I'll give you one more example of this. Okay, I'm getting an access to US stocks, agreed. But let's take an example that there are ETFs which are listed in US stock exchanges, but they are investing in, let's say, Chinese stocks, they are investing in European stocks. Will I get an exposure to those stocks also? Not directly, but yes, indirectly through US ETFs which are listed in US exchanges. Simple till here? Yes, fantastic. Now, second question that pops up in my mind, okay, TK, I understood what is the concept of the gap licensed broker. But if I buy through the gap licensed broker, where will my stocks be held? Where will my shares be held? Now, in this case, the shares are held actually by the broker who is also the custodian. So, in our example of IND Money, they have tied up with US brokers, someone like Drive Wealth LLC or Alpaca Securities LLC. So, if any investor buys through IND Money's platform, ultimately, who is buying the stocks? Those will be bought by the US broker like Drive Wealth or Alpaca. Let us try and visualize this. Who are you? That's where you are, the investor. Okay, you want to invest in US stocks, so you're going to have a tie up with the broker, US broker. But who is going to help you to bridge this? The bridge is going to be built by IND Money. Okay, what will give you additional peace of mind? Array, IND Money is no one but a gap licensed broker and very important, regulated by IFSCA. Okay, now happy. So you buy some stock, US stock, agreed. Where will that stock be held? That will be held with the US broker. Simple till here. You'll be like, okay, clarity, done. But one more question. What if something happens to the broker? What if the broker goes bankrupt? What if the broker shuts down operations? Will I lose everything that I've invested? Question is good and question is obviously valid. The best part is, first we need to understand when, I mean, what happens in such a situation, right? Are your, I mean, will your losses be covered? Answer is yes. Why? Because there is a 5 lakh dollar SIPC insurance. Okay, so $500,000 SIPC insurance will kick in, and that will help you to protect your losses. Okay, which losses? Losses that happen because of bankruptcy of that US trader. Okay, so for example, if a person says, I invested in some XYZ US stock and the stock went down, so I have so many dollars, thousands of dollars of losses in investing. Will that be covered? No, that will not be covered in the insurance. So when can you claim this? You can claim this only if the US custodian, the US broker goes bankrupt, there is some fraud. In that case, can you claim that insurance? Answer is yes. Okay. Second is, how much amount is covered? As I mentioned, up to 5 lakh dollars amount is covered. Even there is a sublimit of $250,000 for what? For any uninvested cash that is lying in your brokerage wallet, in your broker wallet, basically. Okay, so that will also be covered in that insurance. Very important. Who can claim that? Even if you are not a US citizen, can you claim that? Answer is yes. Only thing is that the US partner, the one we are talking about, example Alpaca, or even one more example is Drive Wealth, those US partners should be registered SIPC members. Then will you be able to claim that? Answer is yes. Okay, fantastic. Now I also know about this, but right now I told about what if something goes wrong with that US broker. I get that peace of mind, insurance, everything agreed. But ideally, I will contact IND Money first. If I'm an investor, if I've opened an account with IND Money, what if IND Money is unable to assist me? Whatever is the situation, what if IND Money is unable to assist me? In that case, you can directly contact the US broker also, because they are the ones who are holding your US stocks directly. Simple? Yes. Okay, now you'll be like, fantastic, I've understood so much, but this could be the first time that I would want to try. In that case, I don't want to try with a very big amount. What is the minimum amount that I can start with? Acha, if you had gone ahead with a traditional route where you invest directly through the US broker, many a times they may require investment amounts as high as $25,000. But if you are investing through Gift City, most gap brokers in US, in the Gift City, someone like IND Money, they could allow you with as low as even $1. You might be like, $1 में क्या ही आएगा? Can I even buy one stock? Not necessary. You can also get an access to US stocks by fractional investing. Means what? You can buy 0.01 shares of, let's say, Nvidia or Apple or Alphabet or whatever you want to buy. Okay. So is fractional investing allowed? Answer is yes. Okay. What about funding that account? Basically, IND Money has integrations with so many major Indian banks, so investors can easily transfer funds digitally from their bank account to the US stock account. Basically, it happens in a very cost effective manner. Okay, so all basic points are clear. The process is going to be pretty much streamlined. The hassle of international money transfer and all that is going to be eliminated. Everything is clear. Now, in the next section, we'll understand how can I get started with investing in US stocks. Now, let's quickly understand the process of investing. Steps are extremely easy. First step is what? You'll have to download the IND Money app and you'll have to quickly complete a KYC process which will take few minutes. Okay. Once that is done, your account creation will be ticked off. Basically, this will be your US stocks account, okay, through which you can invest, as I told you, in more than 9,000 stocks and ETFs, whichever you want to. Okay. Next step is what? You'll have to fund your account. Ultimately, you need money to buy stocks, so you'll have to fund your account. But as I told you, they have a tie up with India's major leading banks. So the funding is going to be pretty much seamless into your IND Money's US stocks account. Last step is obviously what? You'll have to start investing. You'll have to access the catalog of US stocks, and that's how you start investing, right? Immediate question, how much will be the charges? So as you can see on screen, majority of the case it's 0 0. You can pause, you can read carefully, okay? But just to give you 2 3 important points, are there any account opening fees? No, it's a $0, no account opening fee. What about AMC? No charges, $0 for that again. But I would want to tell you that if I'm talking about brokerage is at 0.25%. Okay, that is the brokerage that you will have to pay. Now let's take an actual example that if you were to invest, as an example, let's say 1 lakh rupees, then how will that work? Okay, so let's say initial investment is 1 lakh rupees. I am assuming that the current rate, the bank's selling rate is 92.13. Okay, so what will happen? 1 lakh rupees divided by 92.13, you will get how much? $1,080. Okay, those $1,080, assume you invested in some stock. Okay, will IND Money charge any brokerage? Yes, brokerage will be at 0.25%. That will come to roughly $2.7. Will you have to pay that money to IND Money? Yes, that will be your charge paid to them. Okay, assume that the stock that you invested gave appreciated by 20%. This is just an assumption. Okay, it could be plus 20%, minus 10%, whatever is the situation. Okay, but we are in the example, we are taking 20% appreciation. So that amount that you invested, $1,080, now that has appreciated to $1,296 after what? After 1 year. Okay, now assume you sell it after 1 year. How much is the brokerage? Again 0.25%. So that brokerage will come to $3.24. Simple deal here. Now you would want to withdraw that amount. How much will you be able to withdraw? 1,296, that was your selling price, minus sell side brokerage 3.24. For the time being, I'm assuming that whatever buy brokerage you had, you were charged, currently I'm just deducting that also from this amount. So ultimately your total withdrawable amount will be how much? It will be 1290.06. Now I have assumed the bank's buying rate at 88.79. In that case, the amount that I'll be able to withdraw will be 1,14,544 rupees. Okay, so this in simple words will be as good as I invested 1 lakh, and after 1 year that went up to 1,14,544. But there are so many asterisks here. I have taken 20% appreciation, number one. And number two, I have not taken any major change in USD INR. I have taken it at 90.49 as a base rate, and from that I have derived at a buy rate and a sell rate. Okay. If the rupee depreciates, can I get even more profit? In that case, answer is yes. Okay. So I hope you have got a lot of idea that if you want to invest through Gift City, how can you do that? But I mean, I'm sure many of you may still have many questions in your mind. I would love and try and give answers to your questions. Whatever questions you have, please feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below. Me and my team will try our level best to answer your queries. If you found a lot of value in today's video, please don't forget to smash the like button. Please don't forget to share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye bye. You might have come across such advertisements on various social media platforms. Please note, all of these are fraudsters promising unbelievable returns through stock tips. I don't provide any calls or advisory services. I provide only educational content through my social media handles and through my website rachanaranade.com and rachanaranade.in.